clicker today, number 174. It's a Vinnie inspired pedal tone run. As usual, I'm going to play it once slowly and then break it down. During the breakdown, I'm going to share some practice advice you can apply to this thing and pretty much anything else you're practicing. If you want the tabs, you have a link in the description below, and you can also find a link to the backing track there. So we're going to start here on the 12th fret of the B string. Alright, so this one is based on the E natural minor scale, which is 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7. And we start here with this rhythmic pickup. And a pickup just means that we start before the main section and we'll lead into it rhythmically here. So I'm starting on the 4th beat of the previous bar, and I play 16th notes from that note. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And that leads me into 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So this should be the downbeat of the next bar. And just a thing to glue things together so it doesn't feel, you know, very sudden when the solo comes in. Sometimes that's what you want, but in this case, I wanted something that sort of snuck in. And from here, we're going to play something that's basically in the name of the lick itself, pedal tone, also known as pedal notes. Basically what it means is that you go back and forth from a particular note or group of notes. It can be a higher note or a lower note. In this case, just a higher note. So I'm going to pedal from the highest note of each string here. So on the E string, I'm going to go. So I'm basically pedaling from 15 here. And then we repeat the same thing on the B string. Then we'll repeat the same thing on the G string. But the fingerings change, of course, and you have the tabs available for that purpose. I don't want to go through everything in minute detail here because I think that would be boring for most people. And if you're really into this stuff and you can't pick it up right away, you have the tabs available. So that's what you want. And if you do this correctly with 16th notes, you should end up on the downbeat here of the next bar. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And from here we have a very short amount of time to rest, and then we're gonna go straight into this alternate picked 16-note triplet run. So it can be quite tricky because the tempo is quite high, but on the other hand, it's quite a short lick. It's only 3 beats, so which makes it way easier than if you have to go longer picked runs like that is way trickier for obvious reasons. But so this can be a good thing to work on, so you can actually, you can see that it's not impossible to do. But if you have a real issue with the alternate picking stuff, just work on that a lot. And you can take a shape like this or a pattern like this, and even remove the position shifts here and just do it in one position. This is like the most old school picked shred run. And it's basically the most common one I've seen that a lot of great pickers talked about. That's pretty much the one they were able to play fast for the first time. And basically what it is that you just take a scale shape. Say we take this E minor scale from, and just repeat each group of 6. So you go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, restart on that string, restart, restart, restart. And then you can turn it around, either, move up to the next position, go down 6. So it sounds good, and it's a great picking exercise. Whoops. You get the idea. So that's the kind of stuff you should be practicing all over the fretboard a lot for a couple of hours every day. And variations on that. And if you do that for a few months, that's where your picking really starts to come together, if you focus on accuracy. So just because I played it fast now, I would never do that when I practice, when I really try to build my technique. That's more for playing for fun and, just trying out things. And that's also important, but I think it's important not to get those turned around where you spend, 90% trying to play fast and then 10% accurate. Try to go 90% accuracy and then 10% just trying to go for it where you don't really care if you miss some notes here and there. So that's a much better ratio. Anyway, so after we've done this run, we'll end up here on the 19th fret on the high E string. We hang out here for 2 beats. Then I just slide down and play this. Basically, it turns out to be E minor 9th arpeggio. If you look at the notes, you have the flat 7, the 5th, flat 3, 2 or the 9th, the root and the flat 7, and then we slide down to the 5th. And then I do this, just tapped harmonic. And that's pretty much it. And like I said, just make sure that when you practice any of this picking stuff, really make sure that at least, get that ratio 90-10. I think 80-20 is probably too much fast sloppy stuff. So 90-10 or 95-5 I think is a good ratio to. Of course, you're not going to sit there with a calculator and try to make sure that everything is exactly on the percentage, but you really should spend a lot of time just focusing on slow execution and with good technique. And that's how you really program your technique, in my experience. So that's what helped me a lot, and that's how I built my technique. And I think a lot of people talk about, oh, you should sit with a metronome and raise the tempo. Never worked for me, might work for others, but I can only speak for what actually worked for me and what's worked for my students. So if you had issues with the raising the metronome bit by bit type of technique, maybe it's time to try something else. And if you don't have any issues with that, well, then you're good. You should be able to play this stuff. So either way, you win. If you have any questions, just post them below. Otherwise, hope you enjoyed it and see you in the next one.